Hello, 7th grade. I'm going to be explaining to you the quarter project that you have, and you'll be working on that today, Thursday, and Friday, and then you'll be turning in Friday night by 8 p.m. If you watch this video completely from the beginning to the end, this project should be fairly easy for you to do. So let's begin. I'm going to go ahead and start off by reading the instructions, and I'm going to be telling you to move from slide 1 to slide 2 back and forth, and as I go I'm going to be highlighting so that you can see where I'm at. So we have been studying rational numbers and the different ways that rational numbers can be expressed and used. Now you will apply your knowledge of rational numbers to a real world example. What you will be doing is that you are to find a recipe for a dish. It could be a main dish, an appetizer, or even a dessert. You each will need your own recipe, so do not use one of a friend. The original recipe should be one that serves 4 people. Now, let me explain that very carefully, and please listen. When you go under Google, you're going to go and put main dish recipe for 4 people. You can Google appetizer recipe for 4 people. And you can even Google dessert recipe for 4 people. So again, what you're going to be looking for is a recipe that is written with the amounts for 4 people. Once you have that information, then you will be ready to go to the next step. I highly advise for you to stop this recording, go under Google, find your little recipe for 4 people, and then continue pressing play. Okay, so hopefully by now you have found your recipe. You will need to make sure that you have a copy of the ingredients, okay, for that recipe, and the quantities needed for each in one column. So let me explain to you what I mean. I need you to scroll over to slide 2. And in slide 2, we have the example of Chinese fried rice. Now, here, in this area here, is where you would write the recipe, and you would actually have a picture of your dish. You can go and have the picture there. Notice that over here on that side, you have the title of what it is, and all of these things are all of the different ingredients that you will need to be able to make this entree. And remember, it is a recipe for 4 people. So go ahead and slide right back up to slide number 1. And let's talk about the ingredients. I'm going to go ahead and change my color over now to red. I'm in slide 1. This is very important. Your ingredients, the things that I just highlighted in slide 2, you need to have at least 6 ingredients in your recipe. Okay? If you slide back over to slide 2, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 ingredients in this recipe. And remember, the minimum is 6. Slide back over to slide 1. So now that you have established your recipe and you've made sure it's for 4 people and you have at least 6 ingredients and you have a picture of it, then you are ready for the next step. Let's stick to slide 2, and I want you to look at the chart that's there. I'm going to go ahead and highlight in blue. So this first little column right here, if you notice, are all the ingredients that I just highlighted above. Okay? So I've given them each a little box, and they're nice and neat and organized, and those are all the ingredients. Right there next to it, okay, I'm going to now highlight in red. This right here are the ingredients that was given to us because we Googled, right? We found an ingredient that was for 4 people. So if you notice on the top where you wrote down your ingredients, your recipe and all that stuff, if you see, it has 1 1/3 cup of water right here. Notice that's what they wrote here, 1 1/3 cup of water. 3/4 cups of rice. There it is. 3 tablespoons of peanut oil. There it is. 4 green onions. There it is. See how it keeps on? We just literally are copying all of those things onto here because the recipe that we got was for 4 people. So once we've taken care of those first 2 columns, then that's when the fun starts, okay? The math part starts, okay? So what we're going to do is that we're going to go and figure out how much of each ingredient we need for 1 person. Now remember, what you got was for 4 people. So the first one that I'm going to do is I'm going to find out how much I need of each ingredient if I was just cooking for myself. So I'm going to go ahead and start writing in blue. And I'm going to go right next to the word water. I'm going to do a little arrow there on the left-hand side. So if you notice, if I was to cook for 4 people, I would need 1 1/3 cup of water. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to write that to my side here, 1 1/3. But since I need to figure out how much it is going to be for me to be able to do this just for myself, for 1 person, right over here, okay, I need to divide it by 4. So I'm going to go back to my problem. I'm going to put divided by 4. Okay, so that's my original problem that I wrote in blue, and I'm going to start writing in red. I see fractions and I see division, so I need to do keep it, switch it, flip it. I'm going to do 3 times 1 plus 1 is 5 over, not 5, I'm not doing well, 4 over 3. And I see division, so I'm going to do keep it. I'm going to switch it to multiplication, and then I'm going to flip the 4 over 1 to 1 over 4. Hopefully you remember that we can simplify the bottom and the top. I can divide those 2 numbers by 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1, and 4 divided by another 4 is 1. So 1 times 1 is 1, 3 times 1 is 3. Now look at that answer that I have there. I have 1/3. I'm highlighting in yellow. If you notice, that's exactly what's written in the section for the water for 1 person. So that is for the water. I'm going to do one more here with you. Okay, just so that you can see it. Again, I'm going to start off with the rice. So I'm going to put a little arrow going this way. Now, for 4 people, how much rice do I need? I need 3/4 of a cup. So we're going to go ahead and write 3 over 4. And because I got to find out how much it is for 1 person, I'm going to have to divide it by 4. Okay? Changing from blue to red. I know I'm going to do the keep it, switch it, flip it. So 3 over 4, keep it, switch it, and flip it. 3 times 1 is 3. 4 times 4 is 16. And my answer there is 3/16. So if I go for rice and I go under 1 cup, notice that there is 3/16 of a cup. So pretty much what is it that we're doing? Well, to get from our 4-person recipe over to our 1-person recipe, we're pretty much getting all those numbers and we're simply dividing it by 4. Okay? So if I was to continue on and keep going, that's exactly how I would get all of my answers. Alright? So that's from going from your 4-person recipe to 1 person. The rest is pretty easy because now I want to go and see how much I would need of each of these ingredients for 2 people, 3 people, and 6 people. And I'm going to use the information that I have on the one person. So, from one person to two people, I just have to go and multiply this by 2, right? If I want to go from one person to 3 people, I would simply have to multiply this by 3. And lastly, if I wanted to go from one person to 6 people, I would have to multiply it by 6. So let me show you exactly what I mean by that. Okay, I'm going to go back to the water. So I know now, I'm going to switch my colors here to red. I know that I need 1/3 cup of water for one person. So in order for me to figure out what I need for 2 people, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do 1/3 times 2, right? So I put 2 over 1. 1 times 2 is 2. And 1 times 3 is 3. And there it is, 2/3 cup. Okay? If I wanted to see how much water I would need to do this recipe for 3 people, I would go and get the same number, 1 over 3, and I would multiply it by 3. 3 times 1 is 3, 3 times 1 is 3, 3 divided by 3 is 1, and there it is. And lastly, if I wanted to go and do this recipe for 6 people, what would I have to multiply that by? 6. So 1 over 3 times 6. I hope you remember that we can simplify these things. I can divide them by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 6 divided by 3 is 2. So 1 times 2 is 2, and 1 times 1 is 1, which gives me 2, which is exactly what I have written here. Okay? So, your steps. After you find your beautiful ingredient of at least 6 ingredients, and you know that your ingredient is for 4 people, we make chart number 1, we make column number 1, column number 2, and then I'm going to go and figure out my first conversion, which is for one person, by dividing it by 4. And then to do the rest, I'm going to multiply it by 2, then I multiply it by 3, and then I multiply it by 6. And then I continue on all the way until I have my chart nice and pretty and complete. The last part to this is to make sure that you go to slide 3 and you write down or copy the directions on how to be able to make this recipe. So I hope all this helped. I hope to find some really cool ingredients. Maybe I'll be making some. And maybe hopefully when we get back to school, I'll be able to take some for you guys to try. Stay safe. Love you guys. Miss you guys. And hopefully we'll see you soon. Okay? Take care. Bye-bye.